The desert does not care if you are ready. When night falls, the cold comes fast, and when the sun rises, it burns without mercy. On that night, under a sky crowded with stars, a woman whispered words she wasn't sure anyone would hear. "Take me through the night." She was afraid her voice would disappear into the wind like everything else she had lost. He answered without hesitation, "I will." Two simple words, spoken quietly, yet strong enough to stand against the dark, and as the first line of sunrise began to cut through the desert sky, a promise of kindness was already changing both of their lives. Before we begin, if stories like this move you, take a moment to subscribe, like, and comment below. Your support helps us keep sharing meaningful stories here on Soul Tales. Let us know what kindness means to you. The woman's name was Elena. She had not planned to be in the desert that night. Life, however, has a way of pushing people into places they never expected. She had left a small town in Arizona after everything familiar fell apart at once. A failed marriage, a job that vanished, and a silence in her house that felt louder than any argument. She packed what she could fit into an old car and drove west, hoping distance would somehow make the pain smaller. The car didn't make it far. Just past a lonely stretch of highway, the engine gave out with a sharp rattle and a final sigh. No cell signal, no lights, just open land and a sky slowly turning purple as the sun went down. Elena sat behind the wheel, gripping it like it might save her, until the darkness made the fear too heavy to ignore. That was when she saw him, a man walking along the road with a worn backpack and steady steps, like he trusted the ground beneath him. His name was Daniel. He was heading home after finishing a seasonal job at a solar farm, taking the long walk to a bus stop miles away. When he saw Elena standing beside her dead car, he didn't keep walking. He stopped. They exchanged cautious words at first. In places like this, you learn to be careful, but fear has a way of making honesty come faster. Elena told him she was stuck. Daniel looked at the car, then at the sky, then back at her. He knew help wouldn't come until morning. The nights out there were dangerous, especially for someone alone. "There's an old ranger station a few miles from here," he said. "It's not much, but it'll keep us safe." Elena hesitated. Trust did not come easily anymore. Still, the desert was already growing cold, and the dark felt alive with unknown things. That was when she said it, her voice breaking more than she wanted. "Take me through the night." Daniel didn't smile or try to reassure her with big promises. He simply nodded. "I will." They walked side by side, their footsteps crunching softly against sand and gravel. The stars above them seemed endless. Elena talked to keep her fear away. She told him about the life she thought she'd have by now, and how it slipped through her fingers. Daniel listened without interrupting. He didn't try to fix her story or offer advice. He just let her be heard. At one point, Elena stumbled. Her legs were tired, and the weight of the day finally caught up with her. Daniel adjusted his pace, slowing without saying a word. He shared his water, even though he didn't have much. In that small act, Elena felt something loosen inside her chest. Someone was choosing her safety over their own comfort. It had been a long time since that happened. They reached the ranger station just before midnight. It was little more than a concrete room with a broken door, but it blocked the wind. Daniel gathered scraps of old wood and managed a small fire. The warmth was enough. Elena sat across from him, staring at the flames, and realized she was no longer shaking. In the quiet, Daniel finally spoke about himself. He told her about growing up in foster homes, about learning early that kindness was rare but powerful. One person, one moment could change the direction of a life. Elena listened, surprised by how much his story mirrored her own loneliness, even if their paths were different. Sleep came in short pieces. Every sound made Elena stir. Each time she saw Daniel awake, feeding the fire, keeping watch. Just before dawn, when the sky began to fade from black to gray, she whispered, "You don't have to stay awake for me." Daniel looked at the horizon, where the sun was preparing to rise. Sometimes, he said, staying awake is the least we can do for someone else. When morning arrived, it arrived fiercely. The sun climbed fast, painting the desert in golden fire. With daylight came clarity. They walked back toward the road, where a passing truck finally stopped to help. As Elena made calls and arranged for a tow, she felt something unexpected: hope. Not because her problems were solved, but because she had survived the night. Before they parted ways, Elena tried to press money into Daniel's hand. He gently refused. "Just promise me something," he said. "When you get the chance, do this for someone else." They hugged, awkward and brief, then went in opposite directions. Elena watched him walk away until he became a small figure against the bright land. She carried that night with her, not as fear, but as proof. Proof that kindness still existed, even in the most empty places. Months later, Elena found herself settled in a new town. A new job, a smaller apartment filled with light. One evening, she noticed a woman sitting on the curb outside her building, crying quietly. People passed without looking. Elena remembered the cold desert night, the shared water, the promise kept until sunrise. She sat down beside the woman and asked if she was okay. Kindness does not always arrive loudly. Sometimes it comes in simple words, steady footsteps, and the decision to stay, and sometimes it carries us through the night until the sky burns bright again. If this story moved you, let it remind you that your smallest act may be someone else's sunrise. Spread kindness where you can. It matters more than you know.